Good morning from Key West, Florida. I'm standing here at the cruise terminals, and right behind me is the Valiant Lady from Virgin Voyages. It's a 110,000 gross ton ship. My first cruise was in 1991 on the original Carnival, and that ship was about 25,000 gross tons. So this is huge in comparison to that. However, this is not one of the large ships today, but it's absolutely massive to me. It's so incredible to be standing right next to these ships. Just amazing. Look at this ship. absolutely huge. Just incredible what they can build.
From the Bahamas, lean Connecticut fishermen, courtly silk-hatted underwriters and ships agents from Virginia and Charleston, maritime lawyers from Mobile and New York, Cuban lottery ticket sellers, swarthy Spaniards, turtlers from the Tortugas, Bahamas freemen and black slaves, and naval officers. Trying to gain every advantage, the wreckers built high lookouts or observatories, some over 90 feet in height.
The most remarkable edifices in Key West were the Lateen Towers, tall, airy-looking structures of wood, from whose dizzying heights the reef could be seen for miles.
For the 50 years following the War of 1812, the lifeline of the United States was the sea.
There is a reason for the difference. Basically, what happened is the king found out that people were literally cutting corners from his coin coins, keeping the pieces for themselves. So he had to put a stop to that, and look what he's doing to stop it now. He's now using a mechanical press, so now all the coins are identical and they're round, so there's no corners to cut. Now basically, as you walk around here today, for the most part, everything behind glass is real and authentic. Came off of the shipwreck. For example, everything in this case right here came off that ship right there. Except that ship right there, that's just a model. But it represents the El Cazador, and that's known as the shipwreck that changed history, and it literally did. It was a Spanish brig of war, and it set sail from Havana, Cuba in 1784. It was secretly loaded with 400,000 of those pieces of eight right there. And they're taking that silver, folks, to New Orleans, back up the paper money of Spain. Spain was in desperation. It needed that silver to make it to New Orleans, and that's how it changed history. It didn't make it. Just think if it had made it. Well, Louisiana might not be part of these United States today. But what's interesting is how the treasure was found. It wasn't that long ago, 1993. There was a fishing boat going across the Gulf of Mexico. Nets got caught on the bottom. When they finally freed those nets and pulled them up, they came up with a 45-pound boulder that was nothing but Spanish silver coins. And there's a picture of it right there where it says cluster. That's exactly what they pulled up in them there nets. But folks, what's funny about the whole story, why this really is my favorite story, is the name of the fishing boat that found this treasure. Are you ready? The name of the fishing boat that found this treasure was called the Mistake. So we like to call this the treasure that was found by mistake. Wouldn't you like to make that mistake? I think I would. Well, take your time, folks. Take all the pictures you like, and I'm here to tell you more stories and answer any questions you may have. But when you're ready, go upstairs. There's more up there.
touch it.
No, you just can't bring these guns in here.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. But don't touch it.
Go ahead, you can pick it up. I'm just teasing.
I probably can.
Oh, I think you can. Lift with your knees. See, you can do
Here we
it.
go.
Now that silver bar is nearly 400 years old. It sunk on a ship called the Marvels in 1656 off the banks of the Bahamas. What's interesting about that silver bar, as you can see, touch right now, is it actually sunk on another ship the year before. It was mined and minted in Peru and placed on the galleon called the Conception that sunk later that year off Peru's coast. When they finally got it up out of the water, they set it aside and they said, we're going to wait for a better boat. Wait for a stronger ship. Well, they waited, put it on the Marvels, and it sunk again. Hey, if you look real close to those emeralds, you'll notice they sparkle. You know why they're sparkling? That is gold dust on them, and that happened in the process of time being in the deep blue sea for over 300 years. Some of the gold coins around them disintegrated, and along with the salt water, crystallized and wrapped themselves around those emeralds. Fused and lowered it beside the ship, and kaboom! Instant hole. But I think we made too good of a bomb because I think we blew up more than we wanted to. For an 8-hour day's work, he would get paid a whole silver dollar. Of course, that silver dollar went a lot further back then.
Right.
Because it wasn't just a dollar, that's like the equivalent of like $30 today. And I sure would like to have the silver dollar he was paid with because it would be worth a lot more than $30. I tell you. I'm Captain Joe. The other guy is this guy here. Now, before you go upstairs, though, let me show you one more thing. You're gonna rush? This won't take very long. Okay. Have you noticed the chickens since you've been in Key West? A lot of people don't know what those chickens are. I know you're probably thinking, well, chickens. That's what they want you to think. Captain Joe knows what they really are. You know how I know? Because I made it up. That's what they really are. You know how I figured this out? Because ours were roosting. And you see them scratching around? Looking for gold. And you heard it first from Captain Joe. Woo-hoo!
Sailing ships that plied the Far Eastern trade routes. Boxes of spices, maintaining the damp and musty air with their pungent, exotic colors. The list was endless. Here, the women of Key West pressed closer. These were the things that might be bought for their homes and families.
The chief business of the town consisted in fitting out and spooling the records, and all the people were devoted to nothing else. Everything revolved about that business, and everyone was either an owner of a record, or a captain, or a mate, or a sailor on one.
Items on the dock. Bales, cotton, lumber, kegs of rum, molasses, beer, fruits, grain, even the ship itself.
Notice they sparkle. You know why they're sparkling? That is gold dust on it, and that all happened in the process of time, in the deep blue sea for over 300 years. Some of the gold points around them disintegrated, and along with the salt water, crystallized and wrapped themselves around them. So you know what happened, don't you? Basically what happened. It was a Spanish great war, and it set itself in the Danube peacefully. It was secretly 400,000 those pieces of acorn. They were taking that silver. New Orleans to back up the paper on his fame. Spain was in desperation. It needed that silver.
throw it in our wash. We take 150 gallons of water, we throw it in our wash. Thank you. We take a top fermenting yeast, throw it in that wash, close it up, and let it sit for about 7 days. During that time, we're going to produce alcohol, obviously, but we're also going to do what's called CO2. We call this burping. This must be a brand new one. Nope, this one is at the end of its trail. So you see how this one is kind of bubbling constantly? That one shows that the yeast inside is being dissolved by the sugar is being dissolved by the yeast inside. When it slows down like this, that means that it's ready to open. When we open this up, we're going to have a brown liquid that looks like iced tea. About 7% alcohol by volume. In no way is this rum. We need this to make rum. Wash is to run like mash is to whiskey. If you guys want to follow me over to this side. They give me a microphone on this side of the room so I can sound like a burned out 80s DJ. Alright, so we're going to take that 150 gallons of that brown liquid that looks like iced tea that is not rum. We're going to bring it over here to the first still. This is called a stripping still. What this is going to do is strip the alcohol away from the water base. We're going to crank this up to 171 degrees. What's going to happen is the alcohol is going to turn into a vapor. It's going to separate from the water, climb up the top of that first column, all the way to the top. It's going to cross over to the second column, which is a cooling column. That's going to turn it back into a liquid. It's going to fall through that spiral into what we call the parrot. And if you look, we're actually making rum this morning. Out of that 150 gallons, we're only going to get 40 gallons of rum. Clear rum, 40% ABV, which is alcohol by volume, so 80 proof. To some distilleries, this is rum. They can bottle it and sell it. We do not do that. One reason is during the distilling of rum, there is an oil that basically it shows up with every distillery. Every distillery has this habit. It is a toxin. It's called fusel oil, and it will give you a hangover, a terrible hangover. 40% of distilleries leave it in, mix it up, bottle it, you buy it, your hangover, your problem. We don't do that. We're a small distillery. The last thing we want to do is give somebody a hangover. So as we go along, I'm going to explain how we get rid of those toxins and how we guarantee you will not get a hangover off our rum. That is also drinking semi-responsible. A guy said the other day, what if I drink the whole bottle? And I said, that's not a hangover, that's alcohol poisoning. Do what you do. Do what you do. So the first thing we're going to do is take this 40 gallons over here to the next still. This is called the spirit still. Those little windows are called portals. Behind each portal is a copper plate called a bubble plate. It fits in very tightly. We're going to crank that up to 171 again. That rum is going to turn into a vapor and travel through each level of distillation. 6 times distilled by the time it hits the top. It's going to cross over into that cooling column, and the same thing that you see over here is going to happen on this side. Now, out of that 40 gallons that we put in, 30 are left. 10 gallons held toxins and other things that we don't want in our rum, so that is washed down the drain. We have 30 gallons of clear rum. 90% of those toxins are gone because of the distillation, and we're sitting at 160 proof. That's higher proof than moonshine. So we got one last chance to get rid of some toxins. We're going to bring it over here and put it into what is called the chef's pot. This is actually working this morning while we're here. So basically, we lower this down from the ceiling, put the 30 gallons in. I get back up to the ceiling and add these filters on each side. Those are copper tubes filled with carbon fiber. We hit the 2 toggle switches on there, and it basically takes about 8 to 12 hours to drip through those filters into the barrel. Now, this whole scenario took me maybe 5 minutes to explain, pretty quick. But to make 1 barrel of rum, it takes 12 days. It takes all 4 of those washes, which is a total of 600 gallons of water, 600 pounds of sugar, not to mention the amount of yeast it takes. After 12 days, we have what we call our mother rum. It is the base rum for everything we do. So if we barrel age it, naturally flavor it, no matter what we do, this is what we use. Shut this off for a second. You want to come up and take a look at this and smell it? Actually cup it a little bit. Yeah, perfect. So touch it, taste it, kind of go slow with it in between each tasting because you want to give it a chance to change because each time you taste it, it's going to change. Demerara sugar. If we use molasses, molasses only has one flavor profile. The Demerara sugar has multiple minerals that lock in with that yeast and create all those flavors. Because everybody's palate is different, you taste something different. So at 160 proof, our base rum is actually delicious. We do two things with this base rum. We either naturally flavor it, which we have 8 of, I'm only going to mention a couple, or we barrel age it. If we naturally flavor it, we'll take these blue barrels, they are food safe, we'll put 20 gallons of high proof rum in there. We'll throw in Madagascar vanilla beans, real Madagascar vanilla beans for our vanilla brulee. We use local Kermit's Key West limes for our Key West lime rum. We do a Cuban coffee rum. We take 20 pounds of double roasted Cuban coffee beans. We throw them in 20 gallons of rum, let them sit for 4 weeks. It's almost like making cold brew out of rum. Now here's the other reason you won't get a hangover from our rum. No artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no chemicals, no preservatives whatsoever. Natural flavor and rum. Now we do 2 types of barrel aging. Did everybody see the Bad Bitch rum? That is our #1 seller. Because of the name and because of the flavor. It's absolutely delicious. Now there's a story that goes behind this. So here we go. There was a little lady that lived here in the 1920s during Prohibition. Her name was Spanish Marie. She was a very, very wealthy businesswoman. She was a rum runner. She had 15 ships to her fleet and ran illegal rum all over the Caribbean island and the Americas. It is said that she owned the business with her husband, but he started skimming money off the top, doing things that she didn't like. So she took a rum barrel, filled it full of cement, threw him in it, and tossed him into the ocean, coining the term "dead men tell no tales." Also earning her a new nickname. Instead of Spanish Marie, she was now known as the Bad Bitch. This is all true. She loved rum. She would drink quite a lot of it. She loved wine. But what she did that was different is she mixed those two together. So our chef, finding that out, distiller, he had to come up with something that would cover that flavor profile. So those barrels with the red stripes, those are 7-year-old Pinot Noir barrels that would get shipped to us from France. We take those barrels, they're empty, we fill them up with our mother rum. That wine that sat in there for 7 years, all the tannins, the colors, and the flavor that were stuck in that wood, after 2 years of sitting in those barrels, that's how we get our Bad Bitch. Now, the Bad Bitch Blonde, her little sister, that is aged for 2 years in French Chardonnay barrels. So the colors are different, the flavors are different, but it's still the same barrel technique. Now these two, the raw and unfiltered and the Simonton 105, these are done differently. We take these American white oak barrels, we char the inside to a #3, which is what they do for whiskey. Now if you go on our Instagram site, you'll see a video of the next part of it. We take these barrels and roll them down the street to the Gulf of Mexico. We throw them in the water, fill them up with Gulf water, the salt water, bring them back and let them sit for 48 hours. What that does is swells the entire inside of the barrel, opens up all the pores, we dump it out, let it dry for another 48 hours. We now have a salt-cured, charred barrel. We put the mother rum in there, let it sit for 2.5 years. 2.5 years, we get my favorite out of all of them that we make, the raw and unfiltered. If you look, bottom of the bottle, you can see all that sediment. Those are trace minerals from the ocean water, not salt, things like magnesium. The color is from the burning of the barrel, and the flavor is whiskey and bourbon. I've used it to make an old fashioned. I've used it to make a Manhattan. It's still great as a sipping rum because it is still a rum. It just has the characteristics of whiskey and bourbon. And it's great in what we call a dark and stormy, which is ginger beer, dark rum, and lime juice. Two very unique ways to barrel age rum that I guarantee nobody is doing with us. You guys have any questions? No questions?
So this is the base of all the rums.
Yep. Everything we do. We do everything at a high proof, so it gets more flavor. Here's food for thought. We make the rum in this room. We barrel age it, those barrels. We naturally flavor it with the blue barrels. We bottle it in this room. We put the stickers on, we put the rum in, we put the cork in, we do even the small bottles. We do everything in this room. And last year we did over 40,000 bottles. This is it. This is the only place we have. We don't have any hidden rooms with barrels up to the roof or anything. 3 digits. 454.
Right here.
Perfect. Reach your hand into the cursed tiki and pick out your prize.
It's cursed. Oh, great.
Coming in and spending 15 minutes of your time with us and supporting us. We get to tell our stories. We get to, have you try 160 proof rum and realize it is delicious. So thank you again. If you think I did a good job, I do have a tip jar over there by the door. I have 15 kids I have to feed when I get home. They're goldfish, but if you give them a name, you call your kids. Just don't try to use it for tax purposes. I'll walk you guys out this way through the store if you have any questions.
Thank you, man.
Hey Mike, do you want a sample?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
See, your brand new American wine.
Taking a small sip. You want to try that? I'll take it on small sips. It's a great sipping rum.
I just finished my tour at Key West's first legal rum distillery and had a great little free tour. I even won the prize drawing for a free bottle of rum. Well, a small little sample bottle, but at least I can take it on the plane. And of course they offer free sampling, so found some other flavors I like too. Fun little tour. All right, I am trying some more key lime pie, which I absolutely love. I'm here at the Key West Key Lime Pie Baking Company, and I'm trying something I haven't had before, which is key lime pie dipped in chocolate. It's dark chocolate, which I love, and well, you can't go wrong with chocolate, so it sounds like an interesting combination. And they put a little whipped cream on the plate, like the conventional key lime pie would have. So I'm gonna dip in here and take a bite, and let's see what this is like. This could be messy. That's good. That's really good, really refreshing. I don't know. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. I think I still like the traditional pie without the chocolate on it. But it's good. Can't go wrong with key lime. You can see the giant key limes in the background here. The Christmas tree over my shoulder. Having an awesome time in Key West.
Oh, nice, man. Treated like a New York royalist. Coconut Mom, come here. New York. Get the corners off of the mix. Give him a little what he can do. Cheers, nothing. Somebody right here, baby, right here. Mallory Square! That's what I'm talking about, you salty dogs!
And there goes the Valiant Lady cruise ship that I saw earlier today in port, sailing away at sunset.